We want to turn now to a story that really threw a lot of us off last night, and a lot of you woke up to this morning, this tragic and stunning event. And what we're talking about here is the apparent suicide of former Miss USA, Cheslie Kryst. She had so much in the eyes of a lot of people who watched her on television, from the pageant to her work on Extra. It seemed like she had so much going on. We're going to have a conversation with Dr. Ashton, and also joined by our friend psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor for a conversation about suicide in a moment. But up first here, ABC's Linsey Davis.
North Carolina. This morning, immense shock and sorrow after the death of former Miss USA Cheslie Kryst, the 30-year-old apparently dying by suicide. Her devastated family writing in a statement, her great light was one that inspired others around the world with her beauty and strength. She cared, she loved, she laughed, and she shined. Just hours before her death, this photo was posted to Kryst's Instagram with the caption, "May this day bring you rest and peace." Kryst, a highly accomplished attorney with a master's in business from Wake Forest University, represented North Carolina in the Miss USA pageant, crowned the top title in 2019.
Mine is the first generation to have that forward-looking mindset that has inclusivity, diversity, and strength and empowered women.
She appeared on GMA to celebrate a historic win for Black women in the top 4 pageants that year.
I think there are times where I am disappointed because people will sometimes comment on our social media and they'll say, "Why are we talking about your race? Like, you guys are just 4 amazing women." I'm like, but there was a time when we literally could not win.
She then competed in the Miss Universe competition, placing in the top 10, and went on to be a correspondent on Extra, the entertainment show, issuing a statement saying, "Our hearts are broken. Cheslie was not just a vital part of our show, she was a beloved part of our Extra family and touched the entire staff. Our deepest condolences to all of her family and friends." Cheslie Kryst was 30 years old.
And thanks to our Linsey Davis there. And again, let me chat with our Dr. Ashton here and psychiatrist Dr. Janet Taylor. Dr. Taylor, thank you for being here. And what do you make of, and are we talking about it sometimes the wrong way when we say, "Oh, she seemed to have so much going for her. Oh, she seemed so happy." You know, like, what do you make of that being a part of these conversations so often?
Well, so often what we do is to try to gauge how people are doing, and we look at the outside, what we see. But the reality is, unless someone tells you or unless you see specific signs, we really don't know what people are struggling with and what their own personal demons are. So it's really a time to inquire about, how are you? And not only that, be prepared to listen when people may say they are feeling a dark way or feeling depressed, and have resources at hand. But there's no question that, she's only 30, and it's a tragedy, but a reminder that your brain is in your body. And if you are suffering from any mental health condition, help is always there, but we need to speak out and certainly lose the stigma around getting help for our mental health.
And Dr. Ashton, what do we do with that? When Dr. Taylor said, you ask somebody, how are you? And oftentimes people are programmed to give you the wrong answer, not give you an accurate answer. What are we supposed to be looking for in friends and family?
Well, first, I think if you've lost someone to suicide, don't blame yourself.
And you've been very open about this.
I have. I lost my ex-husband and my children's father to suicide coming up in a couple of weeks on 5 years. No one blamed themselves more than I did as a doctor married to someone for 22 years. I didn't see the classic signs because he had other signs. So there aren't always obvious glaring signs, but there can be some categories that, again, if you get a gut feeling that something's wrong, either in someone's behavior, in their mood, or what they're saying, trust your instinct. So in terms of behavior, there was a recent study that found that people who went on to take their lives or attempt suicide gave away possessions, gave away their pets in the days or weeks before their suicide or suicide attempt. People talking about having no hope, feeling trapped, feeling helpless, being a burden to others, being withdrawn socially or at work, any change in that behavior. Ask them. You say, what should we do? Dr. Taylor and I are taught in medical school to overtly ask someone, are you thinking of self-harm or contemplating suicide? You're not going to put that idea in their head. And if they tell you yes, take it seriously, it is no different than a heart attack. Get them medical help, even if it means bringing them to an emergency room.
But we talk here, Dr. Ashton, so often of what you have to do after. You talk
Yep.
about life after, I think the exact title of your book, Life After Suicide.
Right.
Is it not?
You know, my children and I wanted to share our story to try to help others. And it's not just our story, it's the story of over a dozen other survivors of suicide. You know, as Janet said, and you said with the statistics, it's estimated that for every person who dies by suicide, 135 other lives are directly affected. So we wanted to share what we learned with professional help and from others in terms of our healing, and to try to put those pieces back together again. But there is hope, there is healing, there is recovery. We try to live in a way that honors Rob's spirit every day. But this is something that we all need to get on board and fight it together.
All right, and folks, we want you to know if you are struggling with thoughts of suicide, or worried about a friend or a loved one, there is help available. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 273-8255, or you can text TALK to 741-741 for free confidential emotional support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Dr. Taylor, thank you so much, as always, for being here and being a friend of our show on these important topics. Dr. Ashton, always appreciate you being very honest and open about your life and about what happened to you all. Thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.